Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful things about me. So, shall we start, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
So, I welcome you all for this meeting. So, I'm pleasure to be here with you. So, I extend my thanks to the management of Equational Engineering College and the organizers, especially Dr. K. Munishwaran sir, HOD of the CSE department,
using touch பாக்குறீங்களா
and
session 1 hour
Sebastian sir. So I just thank everyone for being this particular session.
நம்ம எடுக்கிறவங்க
So I'll start the session now. So Sebastian sir, can I start now?
yes sir, please go ahead sir, no problem, please go ahead. Okay.
So the topic which we are going to discuss now is information security using blockchain. Okay. So blockchain is a very new technology which is which is being introduced some 10 years back, okay, a decade back. We already know the artificial intelligence and IoT and the technologies like big data and the cloud all are ruling this particular decade, that is 2020. So almost we are going to get so many applications out of it. Okay, so based on AI, based on IoT, there are many lot of applications are being developed, and I think within 5 to 10 years we'll get so many applications out of it. But like those technology, blockchain is another disruptive technology which is going to be introduced in the world. Okay, so it is going to change the whole um, thing about the internet. Okay, so the whole idea about the internet. So within another decade, so this is going to be the technology which will be used in all the web applications. Okay, so take any domain, take any application, so you the blockchain will be there. Okay, so wherever the data will be, wherever the information is going to be, the blockchain is going to rule it. So we'll just go through the blockchain, okay, and how the information is secured in that blockchain. So I'll just give an overview, and also I'll discuss about some of the applications which will be there in the blockchain. So the applications which Indian government has initiated, and the Indian MNCs has initiated. Okay, so that I will focus, and the research area where so this is being moving on. Okay, so that we'll discuss today. So blockchain introduction is as important as introduction to the internet. Okay, so this is what is the statement which is there in worldwide. Okay, so internet has completely changed the technology. Okay, so completely changed the way we think, way we work. Okay, so we know in this COVID situation, completely every activity was based on internet. Okay, so a complete shifting of the uh, work base to the internet is happening now. Okay, so many tools and all those things are we are seeing that. Okay, but the problem with the internet is it can just share the information with one another. Okay, so that's what it can do. Okay, it can share the information, so it can share the data, okay, and it can give you some suggestions. So all those things it can do, internet, but it is not suitable for transferring the value itself. Okay, value as such. So I'll just give you an example for this particular thing. Transferring value in the sense, see, money has some value. Okay, so we are valuing the money, but the thing is, actually it's a paper. Okay, it's a paper. Just Reserve Bank has printed that particular paper. Okay, 100 rupees. So they are bearing this particular 100 rupees. Okay, so and it will be signed by the governor of RBI. Okay, so once that signature is there from RBI, then that paper becomes valuable. Okay, so 100 rupees paper is just a paper, but when it is signed by the Reserve Bank of India, by the Reserve Bank of India governor, then it holds some value. So similarly, take some land record. Okay, so you are purchasing some land. So the thing is, the land will be there, but a document will be created. Okay, so a legal document will be created. So in that, whoever buys that particular land, okay, so when they bought, who is the seller, what for what amount these things happened. Okay, so the transaction happened. So all those information will be there in that particular paper. Okay, so the paper is signed and it is registered in the register office. Okay, so that paper has the value. It has a value because you can go legally with that. So you can use that paper anywhere. Okay, so just a paper, but now it has some value. But internet, although it has so many information, it doesn't have its own value actually. Okay, say for example, you want to transfer some amount from your bank to your friend's account. Okay, so you can use the internet. You can just go into your banking website. You can log into it, and you can transfer the amount to your friend. Okay, so this is one scenario. The thing is, money is there in the bank. Okay, you are just using the internet for transferring the amount to someone. Okay, so that's what is happening now. But the problem, the thing is, internet itself, okay, internet itself, it doesn't have any value. Okay, it is a medium for transferring this particular value. But what is there any medium for converting the internet itself, okay, to hold the value? So that is the question. So until today, it was not there, but blockchain is redefining that particular thing. Okay, so blockchain is creating value for the data which is stored in it. Okay, so that means the paper, the money. Okay, so whatever is printed in the paper, it is having some value. Similarly, internet with some information, it's going to have some value. So the backward engine is the blockchain. Okay, so that is the whole concept of the blockchain. Okay, so complete redefinition of the internet is going to happen in a decade time. Already it's happening. Okay, so already it's happening. It is going to be made much faster. Okay, and AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and IoT, so put together, merged together, they're going to do some wonders in coming years. Okay, so we'll see how this value is created in the blockchain. Okay, how you say this particular value is there. So wherever this value is there, then the security problem comes. Okay, so the information has to be securely written in the internet, or otherwise, so all the all the cyber attack and all those things will happen. Okay, so we'll just discuss what is this. Okay, so what is this blockchain, how this data is getting secured, and how this information is getting secured. Okay, so already we discussed the very first point. Okay, so it is ideal for sharing the information, but not applicable for money or certificate of ownership or etc. etc. But this is what the blockchain enables. Okay, that is digitizing and transferring such values. Okay, so that means it itself is going to make the internet as a valuable source. Okay, and you can transfer the value whenever you want. Okay, so no intermediary is required for doing this. So you can say the blockchain is a type of distributed database. Okay, so actually it is a database. It's in a distributed form. Okay, so we know about database. So all the data can be stored in that particular database, and the data can be retrieved, and all those things we know. So we can query the database and etc. etc. NoSQL databases are available today. Okay, see, actually blockchain is also a distributed database, but the thing is, whatever you are storing there, it is going to be permanent. It is going to be a tamper-proof ledger. Okay, so of the transaction data. So this is the major breakthrough of the blockchain. So based on this particular idea, many different firms and industries, okay, even governments and organizations, everyone are exploring the blockchain in various areas. Okay, so wherever data is there, they want to apply the blockchain. Okay, so because it can reduce the risk of fraud. Okay, no need for any middleman or intermediary service. Okay, so That is a major thing in blockchain. No need for any middleman. Okay, so we'll take an example and I'll tell you what it is. So so this is a scenario. Okay, so Alice and Bob. So Alice wants to pay some $10 to Bob. Okay, so this is happening today, but it will happen through an intermediary, that is the bank. Okay, so bank will have so the accounts of both Alice and Bob. Okay, so Alice can go into her account and she can pay the Bob. Okay, so it'll happen through the bank. So bank will have a ledger. They will just record that particular transaction. But this one, think about this one. Okay, so no need for any bank. Alice can directly pay to Bob. Okay, so without any intermediary, without any interruption. Okay, so no middleman, so no fees, transaction fees attached to it. So can this be enabled? Okay, so can this be enabled? But securely can be made? Okay, so that will be the question. So it can be made possible. Okay, so I'll take another example. Share trading. Okay, so we know. So share market is daily. The share market will be on from morning and till evening. It will be going on, and all the company share will be traded there. Okay, but there will be some intermediary. Okay, say for India, in India you have BSE and NSE. Okay, so both these stock houses are there, so they will clear all those transactions. Okay, so whenever you want to purchase a stock of one particular company, you need to have an account. Okay, so you need to go into the NSE or BSE, and you have to see how it is getting traded, and you need to pay the amount, and you can get it. But the thing is, the intermediary, the BSE and the NSE will be there, and they will clear all those transactions. Okay, so this is how it is going on. So think about this scenario. Company has its own share. Company B has its own share. Okay, so they are floating the shares. So why can't we purchase those shares without the intermediary? Okay, so that is where the blockchain comes. Okay, so no need for any NSE, no need for any BSE for doing that. So you yourself can trade among the peers. Okay, so the peer-to-peer we used to call. Okay, peer-to-peer in the sense, say I'm a person, I'm a peer. Okay, another person will be there, so they are also a peer. So just by transacting with them, I can just purchase the shares, or I can sell the shares. Okay, so whatever maybe the thing, so it can happen. So no need for any intermediary, no need for any fees, and etc. etc. So, but this is not possible for every scenario, because government will not like it. Okay, so that's where the problem comes, because government needs some regulation, it needs some intermediary. Okay, or otherwise, so the fraud and transaction and all those ill ways of transaction may happen. Okay, so we'll deal with that also, because blockchain enables that also. The thing is, blockchain can completely remove the middleman, or otherwise you can have a middleman, and then you can store the data effectively. Okay, so that is also possible in the blockchain. Okay, so now we'll see what is the backstory of the blockchain. Okay, so before going into the blockchain, what is blockchain? So that part we'll see later. But before that, I just want to show you the backstory of the blockchain. See, in 1970s, no network was there. Okay, so the network concept was not there. But 1970s, TCP/IP was introduced at that particular time. Okay, that means the transmission control protocol and the internet protocol. So that is a point where the system can communicate with another system. Okay, so that is made possible. Okay, one system can talk with another system so that they can share information. So through this TCP/IP protocol. So that is the very first digital disruption which happened in 1970s. Okay, so before even the software industry emerges. Okay, so only when hardware was there, still the networking came into the picture at that particular time, and 1970s, and the 1980s was the actual boom of the software industries. Okay, so many softwares was developed at that particular time. But internet came after that in 1990s. So World Wide Web was introduced. Okay, so there all systems are connected to internet. Okay, so that means every system in the world can talk to each other. Okay, so TCP/IP enabled so within a limited area. Okay, but same TCP/IP they have just extended, and World Wide Web came, so that all systems in the whole world can communicate. Okay, but at that particular time, so many problems came. Okay, see, some countries they even banned internet. Okay, so they even banned internet. So that means they thought it is a disruptive technology, so it can steal our data. Okay, so our privacy is gone. So all those confusions came at that particular time, 1970s, 1990s. So many kind of these issues came. But we know, okay, we are in 2020. We know without internet, okay, if some country is there in this particular world, then you'll not treat it as a country itself. Okay, so likewise, because the penetration of internet was like that. So for each and every day-to-day life, okay, so now internet is a mandatory requirement. So likewise, it is going on. So 1990s was a breakthrough, and after that, in 2000, okay, in the year 2006 and 7, a person called as Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, so actually no one knows who he is. He is very well expertised in the monetary system. That means the money. Okay, so the money what is being circulated in the world. So he thought of an alternate money. Okay, why can't we make the internet okay to make a new currency, okay, so that the currency will be available in the internet, okay, so that you can just transact the digital currency. Okay, so the digital currency um, uh, was a very old concept actually. Okay, so because so many years people are talking about digital currency, but so many things got failed. Okay, but Satoshi Nakamoto has written a paper called Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin. So he has written a paper, and that is the very first use case of the blockchain. He used blockchain for creating the Bitcoin network. Okay, so Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. So it can hold the value. Okay, it can hold the value. So that means whatever your paper money does, okay, Bitcoin does. Okay, no need for you to have that paper. You can just move digitally. You can use that particular cryptocurrency. Okay, so in year 2009, okay, so after this particular paper was released in the year 2007 and 8, so many discussions happened with this particular paper. But actually, the Satoshi Nakamoto, until today, no one knows who he is. Okay, so but he has released the paper in the internet. Okay, so still people don't know who he is. But based on that particular paper, so people have created a open source platform, and they named it as the Bitcoin network. Okay, so that is a very first use case of the blockchain, very first successful use case of the blockchain. Okay, so in year 2009 it was introduced. So Bitcoin was introduced at that particular time, and it was the value of that Bitcoin was some cents. Okay, so it's equivalent to some cents. Okay, so you know the dollar and cents. It will be used. It is used in US. Okay, so same currency exchange you can map with the Bitcoin. Okay, so it was in few cents, but after knowing the power of Bitcoin, okay, so almost 12 years gone. Okay, so 12 years gone after this Bitcoin is created. So now people think Bitcoin is more valuable than the paper currency, and also people are thinking it is more valuable than the gold. Okay, so still there are some discussions which are going on. Still, Indian government has banned Bitcoin, but Supreme Court has they allowed the Bitcoin. So in all those countries, the controversy is going on whether Bitcoin can be taken as a cryptocurrency or not. But anyway, so this is happening in the world. Okay, so Bitcoin from that particular time in few cents. Okay, now today market statistics is this: one Bitcoin costs somewhere around $37,000. Okay, so I think after this after morning, I think it went up. Still, it's moving up. Okay, it is around 27 lakhs today. Okay, one Bitcoin cost rupees 27 lakhs today. Okay, so that much value the Bitcoin is now. So if you see the graph, okay, so starting from the year 2009, it was nothing. Okay, so even till 2007, it was in a very very low stage. Okay, and after that, in 2017 and 18, it went up. Okay, and so many problems came. Okay, so because the government, all the governments started shouting, and they want to some of the government, they banned the Bitcoin, and such kind of all those things happen. But they know, okay, wherever the internet is there, you can use Bitcoin. Okay, so nothing can stop in using the Bitcoin. Okay, even you ban Bitcoin, but still you can use it. Okay, there are ways to do. So today, all the government are moving towards regulating the usage of the Bitcoin. They are putting some tax and etc. etc. So that is what is happening now. So now in this 2020, so it went up. Okay, so to that particular stage. So this is the very first use case of blockchain. Okay, so Bitcoin is a very first use case of the blockchain, but it is a wonderful attempt done by the Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, so if you're interested in this, you can go through this particular paper. Okay, so Bitcoin paper. I'll just show you the paper. Can you see the paper? Can you view the Bitcoin the paper? Okay, 1 minute. So now, can you see the paper?
Yes, sir. See the paper. Yes.
Yeah. So this is a paper written by Satoshi Nakamoto. So don't know. We don't know who is that, but he has written this paper with much experience. Okay, so he's master in crypto algorithms and the transactions and server and networking. Okay, so all those things he has taken care, and he has written this paper. It's a very short paper, only 9 pages paper, but it has complete information about how to create a cryptocurrency. Okay, so using the same paper as a base, now so many cryptocurrencies is available today. Okay, in the world. Okay, so anyway, I'll give you the link so that you can download the paper and see. So we'll continue with the discussion. So up to now, so, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you have any doubts up to this, anything about Bitcoin and those things, because I think people know something about Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? Any query you want me to? Because I'm not going much into Bitcoin because it's out of the scope of this particular session.
Sir, one more question from Padmanabhan.
Okay.
Explain again meaning of the blockchain.
Sir?
She asked the question. Explain again the meaning of blockchain.
Yeah, sir. I'll move into that.
Yes, yes.
I just project it and. Okay, so before going into this, I'll show you. Okay, so what is blockchain? So the thing is, blockchain is a place where, okay, so the data can be stored. It's a distributed database. Okay, so I think definition, I'll just go through the definition. Okay, so it is a distributed database which can permanently it can store the transaction data into it. Okay, that means see it is just a database. Okay, blockchain is just a database. You can store the transaction data into that particular blockchain. Okay, so but the thing is, whenever any database is available today, okay, so you can change that particular thing. Okay, so you can edit it, you can update the values in it, but in blockchain you can't do anything. Okay, so once it is written, it is permanent. Okay, so I'll show you how it is permanent and how it is tamper proof. Okay, so just to have a look on what is the applications of this, and then I'll move on to the exact thing. Okay, so take this example. Okay, so I'll show you this example. So blockchain based transaction. Okay, so it will be like this. So you have public ledger. Okay, say you want to transact. Okay, so four people are there: Alice, Bob, Eve, and Jane. Okay, so four people were there. They want to transact the money between each other. Okay, so this is blockchain based transaction. Here, each and every person, okay, will have a public ledger. Okay, that means in their system, a ledger will be there. Okay, a ledger will be there, and also the same ledger will be available everywhere in the internet. That is distributed. Okay, so the ledger is distributed. So say for example, Alice has 100 rupees. Okay, so Alice has 100 rupees. So that is written in all the ledgers. That means the ledger is same across the whole globe. Okay, if Alice has 100, everyone can see. Okay, everyone can query and see Alice has 100. Okay, so once Alice wants to transfer some 50 rupees to Bob, then a entry will be created in the blockchain. That means blockchain is a database, so where the a transaction is created. Okay, so from Alice to Bob, 50 rupees is transferred. Okay, so this will be written everywhere. Okay, so in Alice side, she can see this particular transaction. In Bob's side, he can see that particular transaction. Similarly, Eve, Jane, okay, who may be a stranger, okay, but they can also see this transaction in the blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is available in the internet, so anyone can see what transactions are going on. So once this transaction is written in that public ledger, then so you cannot modify it. Okay, you can't modify it. Now, next transaction, Bob wants to transact 30 rupees to Eve. Okay, so now another transaction will be created, and so it will be written like this: Bob to Eve. So 30 rupees was transacted. Okay, so that will be written in the public ledger. Actually, this public ledger is the part of the blockchain. Okay, so it will be written like that. And the next transaction, okay, Alice wants to transact 80 rupees to Jane. Okay, is it possible? Is it possible? See, Alice has only 100 rupees. Okay, so already she transacted 50. So now she should have only 50. Okay, but now she wants to transact more than that. Okay, so that means 80 rupees she wants to transact. Okay, but blockchain will not allow you to do this. Okay, so that means public ledger is there. Everyone knows the account balance of the Alice. Okay, so she has only 20 now. Okay, she can't transfer this particular thing. So the problem with the digital money and all those things is the double spending is possible. Okay, the term called as double spending is possible. The thing is, see, Alice can have 100 rupees, but still she can send 100 rupees to two people. Okay, so that was the problem in the digital currency, which was introduced earlier than Bitcoin. Okay, but now because it is written in the blockchain, okay, so blockchain in the sense this public ledger, okay, so everyone knows Alice has only 20. Okay, sorry, Alice has only 50, so she can't transfer 80 rupees. So this is where the blockchain thing comes. Okay, so that means if you have a look on the blockchain, see every node, okay, say think blockchain as a group of system. Okay, so it is in the internet. Okay, so it is a whole network. Say for example, some 1 lakh systems are connected to the blockchain network. Okay, each and every node, the 1 lakh systems will maintain the local copy of the global datasheet. Okay, local copy of the global datasheet. Okay, so but um, there is some difference. Okay, because you can't have the local copy everywhere in the systems. Okay, so in all the systems, if you have a laptop connected to the internet, okay, so you can't download the whole global datasheet there because it will be in GBs or terabytes. Okay, so it is not like that. But the thing is, you can view it. Yeah, you can view that global datasheet. The thing is, whenever some transaction happens, the transaction will be written in the global datasheet. Okay, whatever transaction you do, it will be written in that global datasheet. And the whole blockchain network will ensure the consistency among the local copies. Okay, so that means if one transaction happens, okay, see 1 lakh people are there. Okay, 1 lakh nodes are connected. So now, so many transactions will be going on. Okay, say for example, in one particular second, some 1,000 transactions happen. Okay, all those 1,000 transactions has to get reflected in the both in the global and the local copy. Okay, if you have a very big server, you can just download the whole global data sheet and you can have a local copy. So there also it has to be written. Okay, so that consistency is maintained. And this global data sheet, okay, so is termed as a public ledger. Okay, so that is the database of historical information available to everyone. Okay, that means it have complete transaction details. Okay, so Bitcoin also does the same thing. Okay, so whenever you transact some amount, see actually the Bitcoin currency is not a currency itself. Okay, it is a collection of transactions. That's it. Okay, so once a transaction happens, so the transaction will be written in the blockchain. Okay, so it will be written in the public ledger. So, but that public ledger cannot be tampered. Okay, so that is the main thing in the blockchain. So you can just create it as a blocks and you can just store it as a blocks. Okay, so the transaction, say for example, 1,000 transaction, you can make 1,000 transaction into a block. Okay, so you can make a block ready and then you can just add those blocks. So I think you know in linked list, yeah, linked list one already you know. So like linked list, a block will be created and each and every block will be just added to the chain. Okay, so the block will contain the transaction details only. Okay, and also some headers. So that's where the security comes. Okay, so can you understand what is meant by blockchain? It is a chain of blocks. Okay, it is a chain of blocks. So any doubts up to this point? So it will promote transparency if applied in day-to-day life. Yes, yes, it will do. Okay, so for that only this blockchain is created. Okay, so no intermediary, nothing is required. Only thing is the block will be created and it will be written in the block so in blockchain, so that even after some 50 or 100 years, you can just go through that database and you can see what transactions happened at that particular time. Okay, so I'll give you an example here. Say land record. Okay, say in one particular registration office, okay, land record registration office, if some 10 transaction happens in one day, okay, all those transactions will be made as a block. Okay, will be made as a block. It will be written in the chain. Okay, so that means it will be added to the chain. So next day, so many transactions will happen and it will be made as a block and it will be added to the chain. Okay, so the good thing is no one can tamper that particular block. Okay, I'll show you how that is achieved, because using crypto algorithms that can be done. I'll show you afterwards. But the tampering cannot happen. Say for example, after another 10 years, if you want to see that record, okay, so say some dispute came, okay, between for that particular land between two parties. Okay, so one is claiming this is my property, another person is claiming this is my property. Okay, you can just scan through the blockchain and see when the transaction happened. Okay, so from whom to whom the transaction is there. That means for whom the land record belongs, the land belongs to. Okay, so that is clearly written in the blockchain. The transaction is written in the blockchain. Nothing can be done. Okay, so that itself will become a legal document. Okay, say today you can tamper everything. Okay, because land records, if it is in a paper, I can take the paper, I can change the paper. Okay, I can give some money to the registration office and I can do whatever changes I want to. It is still it is there. Okay, now only they are digitizing everything. Okay, they are scanning everything and they're uploading it in the portal and all. Okay, but before that, all these things happen. Okay, but everything can be eradicated because it is stored in the blockchain. Okay, so can you get it up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we'll move into the actual thing. Okay, so the technology behind the blockchain. So we should know the difference between the centralized, decentralized, and distributed environment. Okay, so we know about centralized. Centralized environment in the sense, so you say you have a server. Okay, so it is a central server. So many nodes are connected to that particular server. Okay, and you can store everything there. Say for example, for land record, you can have a server in which everything is written. What will happen if that server went down, or if it gets crashed? It is written in a central server. Okay, if it goes down, what happens? Everything will be, see, everything will go down, isn't it? Okay, so all the land records and everything will go down. So centralized is such a thing. Okay, and decentralized in the sense, see, there will be multiple servers which will be available. Say for example, in India, okay, so there are so many cities. In each and every city, there will be so many registration offices. In each and every registration office, you can have a server, or otherwise for a particular region. Say for example, so if it is for Tamil Nadu, you can keep a server. Okay, or if it is for Kerala, you can keep a server. Likewise, you can have a distributed thing. Okay, sorry, it's a decentralized thing, and you can the local nodes will talk to that. Okay, so the server in Tamil Nadu will reside here. Okay, and all registration office will be connected to that. So the thing is, everything is decentralized. Okay, the work is decentralized. So that is one way on doing that. Distributed is, okay, so everyone can collectively execute the job. That means everyone has equal rights and they can collectively do the job. Okay, so this concept, okay, this networking concept, okay, was inherited in the blockchain. Okay, I'll show you how it is done. See, you know Hadoop. Okay, Hadoop is centralized distributed environment. Okay, that means, see, here it is centralized, okay, and distributed, both combined. Okay, that means in Hadoop, name node will be there, okay, and data nodes will be there. So name node will be the master, okay, and the data nodes will be there. So actually, it is centralized. The master will be there, okay, because here only one master is there. It is, you can call it as a centralized, but the work is distributed across all those nodes. Okay, so that is Hadoop environment. So where you can use the legacy system and you can execute the programs there. Okay, so in that particular environment. But in blockchain, okay, it is decentralized and distributed environment. Okay, decentralized and distributed environment. That means, see, you can have some local servers across the thing. Okay, that is decentralized, and the thing is distributed. Okay, that means each and every node will act as an individual node, and it can do the processing itself. Okay, so processing can be done individually. Okay, so it is decentralized and distributed. So blockchain is decentralized and distributed system. Okay, so this is the framework or structure of the blockchain. Okay, whenever you create any blockchain, okay, it is going to be like that. Okay, it is going to be like that. So if you put all together, okay, so then you will get a Pakka definition for the blockchain. Okay, So blockchain is a peer-to-peer system of transacting values with no trusted third parties in between. Okay, blockchain is a peer-to-peer system. Okay, it's peer-to-peer system. So that's why it is distributed. Okay, of transacting values. You are transacting the values. Okay, so no need for you to have a land registration record in a paper. You can have it in the database itself. Okay, so the database cannot be tampered at all. Okay, I'll show you how that that will be. But anyway, okay, so have this in your mind. It cannot be tampered. Okay, so that itself hold the value. Okay, once it is there in the blockchain, no need for you to worry. Okay, any person can query the blockchain database and then they can take the legal records out of it. Okay, so what transaction when it happens. Okay, so but it will not have any trusted third party in between. Okay, no need for any third party. Okay, see, if you want to sell your land to another person or if you want to purchase your land from another person, no need for any third party. Okay, no need for the registration office itself. Okay, so but anyway, government is not going to let it like that. Okay, but it so it is true in blockchain. Okay, it's truly it is decentralized. Okay, and it is a shared, decentralized, and open ledger of transaction. Okay, actually, blockchain is a shared, decentralized, and open ledger of transaction. So this ledger database is replicated across large number of nodes. So whoever connected to that particular network, they say, for example, Bitcoin network, crores and crores of people are now in Bitcoin network. Okay, so everyone can have the access towards that particular database. Okay, so you can just Google. Okay, so blockchain explorer, and you can see all the transactions which was written in the global database. That is a ledger. Okay, so blockchain is going to be the ledger. Okay, so this ledger is a up and only database. It is up and only, so you can't tamper anything. So that means it cannot be changed or altered. So whatever entry which is written in that, everything is going to be a permanent entry. Okay, and also the permanent entry will be reflected in all the copies of the database. Okay, so if crores and people are there, they can just go and see the global database, or otherwise they can have a copy of the global database in their own system itself. Okay, you can if you have a very high-end system, you can just download that particular thing and you can keep a local copy, so that blockchain will see the network will automatically write all the transaction in your system also. Okay, in your database, in your local copy also. Only thing is you need to be connected to the internet. Okay, so you need to be in the internet. Okay, so that everything will be written. Okay, so because it don't need any trusted third party. Okay, so it is a very secure environment, and you can settle the transaction just like that. Okay, so actually it is another layer on top of the internet. Okay, so it is on the top of the internet, and it can coexist with other internet technologies also. Okay, so that any programming language which you are using for internet, okay, you can use it for writing the coding. Okay, so blockchain based solutions you can do. Okay, so and also blockchain is open source. Okay, so blockchain is open source, so anyone can use it. Okay, so anyone can use it. So that means the tools and everything are available. Bitcoin itself is a open source technology. Okay, so many improvements are being happening in the thing. Okay, so to have a complete overview on the actual transaction. Okay, so we can see this particular thing. Okay, say you are requesting a transaction. Okay, very first thing, you are requesting a transaction. It can be anything. Okay, any transaction, can be any transaction, not only money. Okay, so here they're showing say Bitcoin, but it can be land record. It can be any database you can have. Okay, it can be a student database also. Okay, if you're having a college, okay, you can have a student database. So if you want to write the transaction about a student, okay, so that will also be written in the blockchain. Okay, so you can have a blockchain for that. Okay, so any application with the data can have this. Okay, say we'll take the example of this. You request a transaction, so your transaction will be broadcasted to the complete peer-to-peer network. Okay, so which is also called as a nodes. Okay, so the major thing here is your transaction should be a valid transaction. Okay, it should not be an invalid transaction. Okay, so I can't generate an invalid transaction and write it in the blockchain. If it is going to happen, then it will be it will be a total disaster. Okay, so to verify such kind of things should not happen. Okay, so each and every node in the network, okay, will check that transaction. Okay, will check the transaction, and there are so many rules are written for it. Okay, if that particular transaction is valid, okay, if that particular transaction is valid, then it will be okay. So it will be written in the blockchain. Okay, so it will be written in the blockchain. It will be created as a block. Once verified, the transactions, okay, will be made as a block, and the block will be added to the blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is just a chain of blocks. That's it. Okay, each and every block is going to have the transaction. That's it. Okay, so you can see after completion, you will get the message your transaction is complete. Okay, so all the things will be going on, because if you want to transfer 100 rupees to another person, that particular transaction, if it is verified, okay, so then automatically your 100 will be written there. Okay, so actually the value in the blockchain will be rewritten. That's it. Okay, it will be rewritten, and the transaction will be noted, and it will be added to the blockchain. Okay, but there are various levels of validation happens here. There are so many algorithms involved in it. Okay, the algorithms which are called as a consensus algorithm. Okay, agreement algorithm, that is consensus. Okay, so those algorithm will take care of the invalid transaction. If any invalid transaction comes, it will just throw away. Okay, it will just invalidate the transaction and it will throw away. Even if one node, okay, so fine, it has a invalid transaction. Okay, so then you need to repeat the transaction. Okay, so that means the double spending kind of problem may not come. Okay, so you have 100 rupees, you have already sent some 50 rupees, but before this transaction happens, okay, so another 100 rupees if you want to transfer, okay, so it will not happen. One first transaction will be checked and it is validated, and it will be checked with the second transaction also. Okay, so the double spending problem will be totally cleared in this scenario. Okay, so anyone wants, are these code for Bitcoin only or for normal transaction also? So it is for normal transaction also. Okay, for any transaction, it is not only for Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is taken as an example because you see, as a base. Okay, so Bitcoin network is just being replicated for all the applications around the world. Okay, so any more questions you want to ask?
Sir,
Hmm.
excuse me, sir.
Tell me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This side, Anjali, sir. I have one question. Sir, like there is when we buy a product, there is like barcode or invoice type.
Okay.
From there we do transaction and all, and even the details of that products and all. Sir, is that come under blockchain?
Yeah, that can also be written in the blockchain. See, actually, as of now, it is written in a local database. Okay, say if you are purchasing something in Amazon, for example. Okay, so
Yes.
that transaction will be there in the Amazon server. Is it okay?
Mm.
But if it is, see, the Amazon server, okay, so Amazon itself can create a blockchain. Okay, so if they see, they have so many stores, no? Okay, so they have so many in all the countries it is available. Okay, so they can have
Yes.
servers,
Yes.
and they can make a blockchain network ready. Okay, so that if any transaction comes, okay, so it will be written in the blockchain, so that you can't deny this transaction happened. This transaction was not happen. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Professor Palagana, sir.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Yeah, I am Sabastri, sir.
Tell me, sir.
Sir, actually, we are using the mobile banking. We are using all the transaction now with the Google Pay.
Yeah, sir.
Right? Yeah, they are asking some OTP, something, right? The OTP, whether it is under the blockchain control or
No.
is also.
Sir, today transactions are not written in blockchain, sir. Actually, today transactions are happening through the individual intermediary. Okay, say for example, if you are paying through Google Pay, okay, so Google is there intermediary. Okay, so if I'm transacting some amount to you, okay, so Google Pay is there. If I'm using Google Pay, the transaction will be written in the Google. Okay, so Google server. But the thing is, in Bitcoin, okay, so no need for any centralized server or centralized entity itself. That means no need for any Google itself. Okay, but if Google wants to store all those things as the legal record, okay, they can make a blockchain ready. Okay, and then whatever happens in the Google Pay, they can store it there. Okay, see, actually there are two concepts there actually here. The thing is, one is totally distributed. Okay, so no intermediary, but always it is not a viable solution. Okay, because in a company or in a college, say for example, take some college. If a college wants to have a record on the students' data, okay, so they can't put it in as a public. Okay, so it should be within the campus only. But the thing is, you can create a blockchain network and you can just put it there. Okay, in the blockchain, you can write it in the blockchain so that even after 50 to 100 years, you can just query and see this the information of the students. Okay, you can't tamper that particular thing. The mark details and etc. etc. Everything will be written there. Okay, so can I answer the question, sir? Your question? Okay, so is Bitcoin legal or illegal in India? Okay, so Indian government says it is not legal, but Supreme Court has made it legal actually. So now it is legal. Legal in the sense you can purchase Bitcoin using the wallets. Okay, so there are so many wallets which are available, and cryptocurrency exchanges are available. ZipPay kind of things are available. So from that you can purchase the Bitcoin and you can keep it in your. Okay, so but still government hasn't declared it's legal. Okay, but Supreme Court says it is legal. Maybe government make blockchain for specific purpose. Yes, I have some case studies on it. Okay, so finally I'll show you what the government is doing. Okay, because government is more interested on it. Okay, because so many bribery kind of things you can just eradicate if you use blockchain. Okay, I'll show you that. Okay, I'll continue with the discussion. So this is a formal definition of the blockchain. So it is an open distributed ledger that records transaction between two parties effectively and in a verifiable and permanent way. Okay, so all these things are important. It's an open distributed ledger efficiently. Okay, so between two or more parties. Okay, efficiently, and it's verifiable also, and also it is a permanent thing. Okay, so this is the total summarized definition of the blockchain. Okay, so now we'll see into the actual technology of how this is getting secured. Okay, in blockchain, how these data and information are secured in blockchain, because we are always stressing this particular point. It cannot be tampered. It cannot be tampered. Okay, but how it cannot be tampered? So that is the answer for this particular thing. See, do you know anything about hash function? Hash function. In cryptography, this concept is there. Okay, so I'll explain it very simply. Don't go by the mathematical things and all. The hash function is, say you have the data like this. Okay, say first thing is Fox. Okay, so you have a data like this. So if it can feed into the hash function, okay, the hash function will convert that input into a digest. Okay, that is message digest. The name is message digest. Okay, which is of fixed size. Okay, which is of fixed size. It can be a 256 bit or 512 bit, whatever it may be. Okay, it will be a fixed thing. Say, for example, the input. If you can write a sentence, okay, out of it. Yeah, if you are writing a sentence, and if you are just giving as an input to the hash function, okay, so still you will get a message digest with same okay, so same length. Okay, so a fixed length. So that means a input can be anything. Okay, even you can take a book. Okay, the contents of whole book. You can just give it as a you can take it as a PDF. Okay, and you can just give it to the hash function. The hash function will convert that PDF. Okay, so into a message digest. Okay, so which is a fixed size like this. Okay, so actually this hash function is used in cryptography. Okay, so for security purpose, this concept is being used in the blockchain. Okay, this hash function is being used in the blockchain. The good thing here is, say, if I am changing only one letter, okay, in the input. Say, for example, in this particular thing, the red fox jumps over the blue dog. Okay, in that, over OVER, instead of V, I'm just changing to U. Okay, in the third input, if you see, if I'm just changing into U, the message digest completely will get changed. Okay, the complete transformation will be there. Okay, so you can't predict the digest at all. Okay, so that means whatever input is given to a hash function, it will create a unique digest. Okay, unique digest, so which will be unique for that particular input. Okay, unique for that particular input. If you change the data, okay, if you just put a comma, or if you just put a if you just change one particular letter, okay, so the whole digest changes. This is called as the avalanche effect. Okay, so I'll just show you the program for it. Just a minute. Okay. So can you all see the Python window, spider? Can you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that, see, actually, I've just written a small program. So SHA 256. Okay, so that is an algorithm. Okay, that is an algorithm. That's a security algorithm. So that is what we are used in that particular side. Okay, so that is the hash function. Okay, so you are just giving this particular sentence to that particular hash function. Okay, blockchain is a system of recording information in a way that make it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. Okay, so I'm just giving this as an input to this particular SHA algorithm. Okay, I'm replicating the same thing in another instance also. Okay, if I just execute this particular program, okay, so here you can see the hash value. Okay, both are same. Okay, see, because data is same, you are just passing that data to the hash function. You are getting a hash, okay, a fixed size hash, which is exactly same. Okay, I'll just do a modification here. See, blockchain is here. Okay, so I'll just take out this A. Okay, so blockchain is the A. I have taken it out. Now I'll execute the same program. See, the hash completely got changed. Okay, the hash value completely got changed. So that means if you tamper that information, okay, I'll use the word tamper here. Okay, that means if I tamper that particular line, okay, then the whole hash changes. Okay, the whole hash value changes. So this is the key for blockchain. Okay, this is the key for implementation of the blockchain. Okay, so can you are you clear with this? Are you clear with
Clear,
this
sir.
hash
Yeah,
function?
please. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Just a minute. So now, a data structure called as Merkle tree is used in the blockchain. Okay, so same hash function, whatever we have seen here, this same idea is going to be used here. Okay, so take the down column. Okay, that is a document. 4 documents are there: D1, D2, D3, and D4. Can you see that Can you see this PPT? This is very, very important slide actually. So this is going to be the heart of the blockchain. Can you see this thing?
It is visible, sir.
Yeah. Okay, sir. See, there are 4 documents: D1, D2, D3, and D4. Okay. Say for example, it is a land record. Okay. D1 refers to a land transaction. Okay, which has happened, and a document is created. Okay, it is a PDF document or whatever it may be. Okay, D2 is another land transaction. D3 is another land transaction. D4 is another. The thing what happens is in the root level. Okay, in the root level of the tree, the D1 will be hashed. Okay, D1 will be hashed. So you will get a unique value. Okay, H00 will be a unique value. Okay, just store it there. D2, okay, you are hashing and you are getting a H01. Okay, so that is another message digest, okay, of fixed size, but that is also a fixed sized message digest. Okay, D3 and D4. Likewise, you can use the same hash function. Okay, actually in in Bitcoin they are using SHA-256 algorithm. Okay, so whatever I have shown now, same algorithm is being used in the Bitcoin also. Okay, so now this is hashed. If it is hashed, okay, so I'll ask you one question. The hash H00, H01, 10, and 11, is there any possibility for it to be same? Is there any possibility for it to be same? See, I have taken
Yes.
2 lines. I would just change only one thing out of it. Okay, so completely the thing changed. Okay, the complete information changed. Okay, so document 4 different documents. Okay, so I'm just giving to the same hash function. Okay, what will happen? What will be the value of H00, 0, 0, 1, 0, sorry, 10 and 11? It will be completely different value. Okay, so it will be completely different value. Okay, so now next level, okay, what they're doing is hash, they're taking one hash and they're adding sum up with another hash. Okay, and they're redoing the hashing. Okay, same SHA-256 algorithm, they're redoing it. Okay, now you'll get H of 0. Okay, H00 plus H01. You are just merging both these things and you are hashing. Now you will get another unique value that is stored in the H of 0. Okay, and H of 10 and H of 11, you are just merging. Okay, and then you are hashing it. Now it will become H of 1. Okay, so H of 0 and H of 1 will be unique values. Okay, and H of 0 and H of 1, okay, so they are taking those values, they are hashing it. Now that will become the root hash. Okay, the root value. Okay, now tell me, if I want to change something here, okay, see all these things are land records, D1, D2, D3, and D4. Okay, say I want to tamper D2. Okay, that means after some 10 years, I just want to tamper that D2. Okay, because that is my relative land. Okay, so I want to change that land to my thing. Okay, so I want to change that document itself. Okay, if I'm doing some changes here, what will happen actually? If I change D2, what will happen? If document T2, if I'm going to change, what will happen for the whole tree? Each and every value will get changed, isn't it? Okay, H of 01 will get changed. So H of 0 will be changed and H of root will also get changed. Okay, so the complete value will get changed. Okay, so that is a power of Merkle tree. Okay, so this tree, you are just going to use it in the blockchain. Okay, so the blockchain data structure is going to be like this. So whatever you have here, okay, so whatever tree you have, the 4 transactions, okay, all the hash values, you're doing the so much of hashing, and finally you are getting some root hash. Okay, all the transactions and the hashing are written in the block, the body of the block. Okay, body of the block, and the root. Okay, so the root hash is called as a Merkle root. Because it is a Merkle tree, it is called as a Merkle root. Okay, so that root will be written in the header of the block. So this is a blockchain data structure where this will be written. And also previous block n-1, okay, you are just going to hash the block header, okay, and you are just going to put it in this particular block. Okay, now what will happen? If you are going to do like this, what will happen? So can you change anything here? If you change something in the transaction, what will happen actually? If I change something in the transaction, okay, so transaction tx1, tx2, so many transactions are there. If I'm going to change one transaction, what will happen? So
Merkle root will change.
Merkle root will change. Okay, Merkle root will change. Also, the body of the block will also get changed. Once the Merkle root changes, okay, so but think of this particular thing. You are writing the hash of previous block header, okay, into this particular header. Block n has the hash of previous block header. Then what will happen to this particular header now? This header has to get changed, yeah. So the Merkle root got changed. Okay, if that is going to get changed, if you are that also should be changed, isn't it? Okay, that should also be changed. Okay, so that is the issue here. Okay, so the thing is, if you tamper some data, okay, so if you tamper some transaction, then completely, okay, so everything changes. Okay, you have to change the whole blockchain. Okay, whole blockchain, because the header is hashed and it is written in the next block. Header is written in the next block, so completely it is getting changed. Okay, so if you want to tamper one particular transaction, you need to change the whole blockchain. Okay, which is not at all a viable option, which people will not do it. Okay, so this is where the power of blockchain comes. Okay, so this is where the information cannot be tampered at all. Okay, in blockchain. So once you write so many blocks in the blockchain, then your transaction is getting secured and secured. Okay, so nothing can be changed there. Okay, so can you understand this? Understand this? If you have any question, you can ask me now. If you have any question? Shall I continue? Okay, block n+1 will also get changed. Okay, so that is the thing. So that is the power of blockchain. Okay, so now, so there are the two things, that is permissionless blockchain and permissioned blockchain. Okay, so permissioned blockchain is, permissionless blockchain is whatever we are discussing here is permissionless blockchain. That is Bitcoin and Ethereum and those kind of cryptocurrencies. They are permissionless because there is no intermediary. Okay, so no need for any permission. So if you want to join the blockchain network, you can just go and join. Okay, so as a peer, you can just go and join the blockchain, and you can transact within that particular network. So no one is going to stop you. Okay, but same blockchain technology, if you're going to use it in the industry scenario, okay, industry scenario, or for college, if you are going to store some data about the student marks and those things. Okay, say if you're going to store marks in the blockchain, then no one can tamper it. Okay, so if you want to do that, then you need to move towards the permissioned blockchain. Okay, permissioned blockchain it is also called as a private blockchain. Okay, so that means a college can create a private blockchain. They can store all the transactions which are happening inside the college. Say for example, we will take the student mark. Okay, whatever they are scoring, so it has to be written in the database. Okay, but if you convert your database into blockchain based database, then whatever you write, okay, so in that database, it cannot be tampered. It will be stored always. Okay, but permissioned means you need an administrator. Okay, you need a network administrator. They have to give permission to join that particular network. Okay, so because student mark, you can't just like that keep it openly. Okay, around the world, it has to be within your your campus, or it may be shared to the university. That's what that's all you can do. Okay, so that permissions you can give to that particular blockchain, and you can use it. Okay, so both the things. So this thing compromises the decentralized approach of the blockchain. Okay, this permissioned blockchain. So the decentralization property of the blockchain, if it is subsidized, okay, so then it can be made as a permissioned blockchain. So this is where the all the government are likingly they're moving all their applications into the permissioned blockchain. Okay, so they are not using the permissionless blockchain. That's why they are fighting with the Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those cryptocurrencies, they are fighting against it. Okay, but if it is permissioned, then okay, so everything can be written in the blocks without any tampering. Okay, so even banks are thinking of it. Okay, so if you talk only about Bitcoin, okay, then banks will not allow you to do, because no need for bank itself. If you are transacting Bitcoin, no need for bank itself. You are having some money Bitcoin, you are just sending to some other. Okay, so the transaction can happen without intermediary. But in permission, banks can also explore the blockchain to have several use cases. Okay, I'll tell you about some use cases here. See, if you see the last thing, okay, because permission, all those points we already discussed. You see the use cases. See, permissionless blockchain, digital identity, voting, fundraising, all those use cases are there. Okay, so on the permission blockchain, if you go, food tracking, banking and payments, supply chain management, so many use cases are there. So in both these things, there are several use cases which are available. Okay, so we'll see some of the use cases which are being used in our country. Okay, so anyway, Bitcoin already we know. So apart from that, you should know about Ethereum and EOS. Okay, Ethereum and EOS are some platforms which you can use it for creating the blockchain applications. Okay, so you can you can develop decentralized applications, that is DApps. Okay, the decentralized applications you can create using Ethereum and EOS. They are the platforms for creating it. Okay, so here another interesting concept called the smart contract is there. Okay, the smart contract is, the thing is, take the same example, the land record. Say I want to sell my land to a person. Okay, say I may ask some 10 lakhs from him. Okay, so for selling my land, I may ask 10 lakhs. So two scenarios may happen here. Okay, one thing is the person has to settle me 10 lakhs. Okay, or give me some part of advance. Okay, and the registration has to happen. Okay, say for example, he has given the whole money. Okay, 10 lakhs he has given to me. What will happen if I say, okay, you haven't given 10 lakhs to me? Okay, see, if it is a bank transaction, it will have some ledger and all those legal things will be there. It is going to give us some money to me. Okay, so just as a cash to me. Okay, I got the 10 lakhs, but I'll say, okay, so you haven't given any money. This is one scenario. Okay, so now land registration happened. Okay, so it also happened. So no, sorry, land registration will not happen. But the thing is, I gained the money. Okay, but I haven't. So I haven't documented the land to him. Okay, I haven't transferred the land to him. This is one scenario. Second scenario is he can give some money to me. He may say some 5 lakhs I'll give to you. After registration, I'll give you another 5 lakhs. Okay, he has given me 5 lakhs, but after that, he's cheating me. Okay, so after that, I have registered the property. and then I'm asking for the money. Okay, but he says no. Then where can I go? Okay, so to solve all these issues, okay, the thing called a smart contract comes into the picture. That means smart contract is a piece of code. Okay, so written. It's a see you'll have some rules that will be written as a code. Okay, so whenever you transact the land, so that particular information will be available as a code. Okay, so once once it initiated, okay, once it got initiated, it will just do the land registration. The transaction will be done, and also it will transact. It will just do the transaction of the money between both the parties. Okay, without intervention of both the parties. It itself will do. Okay, it will take from my account, from my Bitcoin account. It will just take the amount or Bitcoin, and it will just send it to the person without my consensus itself. That means once triggered, okay, once that land registration is triggered, if that land registration happens, okay, after that, automatically the money will be transferred to the person. So here the legal issues will be taken care by the thing. Here also no intermediary is required. Only thing is the coding is required, a Paka coding is required. Okay, so here security issues there because you can inject something into the code and you can do it, but people are striving to to avoid that. Okay, in smart contracts, smart contract is also doing that easily. Okay, so all contracts can be written in the code, and the code itself will do everything. Okay, so this is one kind of application, and another thing is bank chain. Okay, so bank chain is initiated by State Bank of India. Okay, so nationalized bank, the number one bank is State Bank of India. So it comes directly under central government. So they have created bank chain. Okay, they are creating bank chain. So it can be used by 27 banks. Already 22 banks got collaborated. Okay, so you take any major ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra. So all those private sector banks are also the part of this particular bank chain. Okay, so they are creating it as a permissioned blockchain. Okay, they are not using permissionless as in cryptocurrency. They are using permissioned blockchain, and all the KYC and these things. That means know your customer. Okay, so whenever you go to start some account in the bank, they will ask for your information, KYC form. Okay, know your customer form. But if you go to another bank, they will also ask the same thing. Okay, so it will be repeated like anything. Say actually several billions of money is being spent on this KYC itself. Okay, for verifying the KYC itself, because you should not give a bank account for someone. Okay, someone who is not at all an Indian citizen, or he may be a terrorist also. Okay, so to avoid that, the KYC is very, very important. But that KYC, if it is written in the blockchain, okay, any bank can go to that blockchain and then they can verify it. Okay, verify the information of that particular customer, and they can clear all the process. Okay, so it will save lots and lots of money. This is only one example I have given in bank chain. There are so many things which is going to happen. So it is initiated by State Bank of India. Okay, and Government of India, they are creating something called as a India chain. Okay, in India chain, complete governance. Okay, complete Indian governance. Okay, wherever all the data is going to be written in this India chain. Okay, land registration is already it's getting implemented. I think in Telangana and there already the land registration is happening in blockchain itself. Okay, and the credit records. Okay, so you need to track the credit record, but it has to be under government process also. Okay, because how much loans you got. Okay, how many whether you are paying it correctly or not. All these informations are required by the bank, but it also needs to be verified by the Government of India. So they are creating credit records also. The interesting thing is tamper-proof degree certificates. Okay, actually Delhi University and IITs, they are working on this particular project, tamper-proof degree certificate, because we know. Okay, so so many fake degree certificates are available today in India. Okay, but here, see, the certificate will be issued by the university. It will be written in the blockchain. Okay, and it will be the access will be given to the student. Okay, to that particular student. For whoever the digital certificate is created for that particular student, this information will be given. Okay, so and then they can share the digital certificate to the employer for verification. Okay, they can allow or revoke the access. Okay, so you can't show degree certificates to all. Okay, if your employer wants to see that, then they can see. But the thing is, it will be written in the IIT blockchain. Okay, it will be written in the IIT blockchain, and it will be written in the India's education blockchain, so that you can just verify that. So tampering cannot be made. Okay, so if it is not available there, then it's an issue. Okay, so in another 10 to 15 years, complete certificates and everything will be there in the blockchain. Okay, so that is an initiative by Government of India. And health records. Okay, so to avoid health records, fake medical usage. Okay, so because government is giving so many subsidy, okay, for medicines and etc. etc. So to avoid the fake health record, the health records are getting entered in the blockchain. Okay, so that if it is a true thing, okay, so if he's a poor person, okay, but he's a health issue, if it is there, then from Prime Minister Fund or something, they can give some money to them. Okay, but for verification, it has to be written in the blockchain. Okay, then insurance system. Okay, so PM, I think PM office already have so many insurance packages. Okay, medical insurance is there, and individual insurance, accident insurance, so many things are there. All those things are moving towards the India chain, that is the blockchain. Okay, and online voting. This is a very interesting application, but still under discussion. Okay, even very big countries like US, they are not shifting to online voting. Okay, but in India, we are spending much on online voting. But think about this. See, you can sit anywhere, but still you can vote for your constituency. Okay, using your mobile phone. This can happen. Okay, so the thing is, your vote will be written in the blockchain. Okay, whatever you are casting, the vote will be written in the blockchain. So no one can tamper that. Okay, so you can just get the results within fraction of seconds because it is just querying the database. Okay, so we used to query. Okay, so select query we used to do. Similarly, if you just do the querying, you will get the final result also. No need for so much of human beings involved in that particular activity. You can just create a blockchain, you can make it. But it is under discussion. It may come. Okay, and Reliance is also, they are introducing something called as a GeoCoin. It is a virtual currency which they wants to create for their transaction. Okay, the geo-related transaction, they are creating GeoCoin. Okay, likewise, Ola is also creating Ola and Uber. Okay, so they are also working on creating the cryptocurrencies for their own use. Okay, for their own transaction. Okay, so these are some of the applications of the blockchain. See, you wherever the data is there. Okay, so you can use the blockchain. Okay, that is the power of blockchain. Okay, so any doubts up to this point?
Professor Balagani sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Actually, your explanation is excellent in the current situation.
Yes, sir.
But even though many transaction is happening through online, so and everybody has some complaint about the online corruption.
Yes, sir.
But it be any possibility to control in corruption regarding the black money under the Bitcoin?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Actually, what Indian government is trying to do is they want to create a blockchain where all the asset record will be maintained. Say, for example, if I'm a person, okay, so I'm a citizen of India. So my information will be written in the blockchain, and also my current asset details will also be written in the blockchain. How many lands I'm holding, how many gold I'm having in my home. Okay, so how many cryptocurrencies I have, how much bank balance I have, everything will be written in the blockchain. Okay, whenever I purchase some land, in the sense, okay, so if I purchase a land, that will also be written in the blockchain, and it will automatically come under my asset thing. Okay, in blockchain. If you just go and query, okay, using my Aadhaar card number. Okay, so whatever transactions happened, okay, so from the day 1 till today, okay, from my birth till today, whatever transaction happened, okay, so if it is implemented in 2030, then from there it will be starting, okay. So everything can be analyzed. So government wants to actually eradicate the paper money, okay, because paper money, if it is there, then all those bribery and all those things happens, okay. They want to eradicate the whole thing, and everything will be digitized, okay. Digital currency will be available. It may not be cryptocurrency, they may accept cryptocurrency or not, that is another story. But digital currencies, only digital currencies will be available, and complete asset details will be stored in the blockchain. If you just give your Aadhaar card number, okay, it will just give the complete information about me. If I'm purchasing a gold from a jewelry, that transaction will also get reflected here. Okay, so complete thing will be written in the blockchain. Okay, so you can just see whoever has transacted to me. So bribery and all those corruptions, okay, so can be totally eradicated if you are going to use blockchain for doing it. But complete system has to be changed, okay, into blockchain. If that happens, then easily you can trace it out, okay. So whoever holds what, okay, so what is their asset status, who gave what, okay, who gathered what, everything will be there in the blockchain. Is it okay, sir?
Yes, it's okay, sir. No problem. And
Yeah.
yes, sir. Make it faster, please.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay.
I'll just complete. Okay, so I think you know about Gartner. Okay, so Gartner is analytical platform and analytical company. They used to think about they used to analyze about the current emerging technologies. Actually, they have given this hype cycle for blockchain technology. Okay, so if you see here, within 5 to 10 years, okay, so we are going to see so many applications from blockchain. Okay, so these are all these things, okay, so comes under blockchain. Okay, so the blockchain may manage services, decentralized web, okay, so smart contract article, so many things are there. All these things are under development, but within 5 to 10 years, okay, so we are going to see so many applications in the blockchain. Okay, and it is in the top emerging technologies, okay, so of the decade. So if you see here, the blockchain is at 7th place. AI is already running, okay, so AI is at the top. 5G, people are working on it. IoT, okay, serverless computing, biometrics, AR and VR, and blockchain is also here. Okay, so but blockchain within 5 to 10 years it will be at the top. Okay, so that's the thing. So these are some of the buzzwords of the blockchain. Okay, so if you want to study more about blockchain, you need to go into these technologies. Okay, so Bitcoin, you need to study the working of the Bitcoin. Okay, and Satoshi Nakamoto paper, and Ethereum platform, EOS platform. IBM has also another platform. Okay, that is called as Hyperledger and Hyperledger Fabric. That can be used for writing the applications. That permissioned based applications, you can just create it using it. Permissionless, if you want to create, then you have to move to Ethereum and EOS. Okay, for doing that. And there are so many consensus algorithms which are available, so that no invalid transaction should be written in the blockchain. So that will be taken care by the consensus algorithm. As a proof of work, proof of stake, so many things are there. These are some of the buzzwords I have given. Okay, so if you are interested in that, you can just go through it. Okay, so thank you from my side. So if you have any queries, you can ask me.